Finally here. The time is finally here. A fight that I had mixed reactions to initially, and the hype, the aura around the fight, the aura around the two fighters, and the the hype. It's got me. I'm in. I'm in. Early on, I was swayed all the way one way. I said Canelo's too big. I said this is a waste of time. It'll never happen. Crawford's just calling him out. Payday. He won payday. I said it's never gonna happen. It's too many weight classes. But when you got somebody like Turkey Al Sheik involved in this boxing game and Dana Pink, Baldy coming together, anything can happen. Truly, anything can happen. And now we got Canelo versus Crawford fight week. I am flying to Vegas tomorrow, Wednesday. I'll be in town Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Fight day on Saturday. We'll be streaming. Make sure y'all lock in with me. But I'm going to the fight week to get all the fight week festivities taken in and all the content for the week. So make sure y'all locked in. Make sure y'all subscribed and make sure y'all following on YouTube, TikTok, all the good shit. Twitch, I'll be streaming on there, doing some IRL streams in Vegas as well. But what we really here for is the fight. Canelo versus Crawford. A fight that I said was too much for Crawford. A waste of time to even think about, just a shot in the dark. It's a case of two big names just calling each other's name to stay in the news, but it'll never actually happen. But damn it, it's here. It's crazy to even imagine them in the ring together. Greedy Gert, thank you for the follow, brother. It's crazy to even imagine them in the ring together. Like even seeing that visual is going to be kind of bizarre. At 168, the fact that Crawford was coming up in weight to 154 was pushing the limits of what he can do at 154. And now he's fighting an all-time great, 14 more pounds up. Which is why I was so against the fight, so heavily leaning Canelo. So heavy on this is a waste of time. So heavy on it can never happen. But as I said, we've never seen Crawford lose. So it's hard to even imagine with the will, with the confidence, with the, just everything that comes with Terrence Crawford. It's hard to even imagine him losing. But it's also hard to imagine him at 168 putting 14 more pounds on from the 154 when he couldn't really hurt Madrimov. When he did, I thought the performance was a little bit better than people said. He didn't struggle as much with Madrimov as people said. He won the decision pretty cleanly. Madrimov had some moments. He got hit a little bit more than obviously did Spence. We saw what he did to Spence. Everybody thought he was Superman. So seeing the Madrimov fight after that made him look a little more human. But he had a pretty good performance in that. Solid win. And Madrimov is a solid fighter, even though Virgil Ortiz did beat the dog shit out of him after that fight. So that does take away some of the, what have you done for me lately for Crawford. If this was coming straight off the Spence fight and that was at 154, we'd maybe be saying a different thing. If he had a performance like the Spence performance coming right into this, maybe Crawford would be like a heavy, more of a favorite. But even the betting odds are not as wide as you think. We're looking at plus 145 on Crawford, minus 185 on Canelo, which is pretty close odds. Not far off. Not far off. It's a very confident in Crawford. Even though I've seen a lot of experts, a lot of fighters are going Canelo. I feel like most of the fans are going Canelo, and a decent amount of fighters are going. I feel like more fighters are going Crawford, and more of the fans are pretty heavy Canelo from what I've seen. I feel like fighters are kind of split, but most of the fans are going Canelo. And it's just the size. It's just what we've seen Canelo do. Who we've seen Canelo against, how long we've seen Canelo relevant. It's crazy we talk about Crawford like the new up-and-comer that everybody is so hype about in the last couple years that burst onto the mainstream scene to the casual fan after the Spence performance. But he's 38 years old. He's older than Canelo. He's the older guy in this fight. Even though he's the one daring to be great, going up against the legend Canelo. Canelo's younger. Canelo's more established at that young age because he got that name value at a very, very, very young age, as opposed to Terrence Crawford just started coming into his own as far as recognition in his 30s. So in this fight, I look at it and I say, first, will the weight affect Crawford? In my opinion, there's no way that it won't. I don't know how much Crawford walks around at, but if he's able to cut all the way down to 47, if he was able to cut all the way down to 40, and if he was coming up to 54, what is he really cutting to get to 68? Is he just showing up? Is 68 like close to his walk around weight? Is he kind of just eating whatever he wants and showing up? Because I'm not too happy with that. A lot of people say they hate weight cutting. Weight draining can hurt you, but also not weight cutting can hurt you. If you're showing up, not having to lock in, not having to be hungry and push yourself to make that weight and to be disciplined, to be in that gym every day to hit that weight point, and you know that like I can kind of fuck off, I can kind of eat whatever I want, I can skip a couple days training, I can skip a couple runs and still make 68. That makes me think maybe you don't have to be as locked in to make 68. As opposed to Canelo, I know Canelo can walk around 200, 205, 190, around that range. He can get up there. He's fought at 175. He fought Bivol. And 68, I think, is Canelo's best weight class. He's undefeated at 68. Only 2 losses in his whole career, but undefeated at 68. What up, Wicked Blunt in the chat? You think I saw his story? He was walking around 182. But is that 182 a forced 182? Is that his natural walk-around weight, or did he bulk up and like eat whatever the hell he wants to bulk up, and then he's trying to cut down from a bulked up weight? Because I think that can be a large, significant effect on your cardio. If you bulked up more than you've ever bulked up and you're trying to cut down from that bulk weight and you're going to be stepping in that ring heavier than you've ever been, yes, maybe your chin will be better, but you might be slow. Your cardio might fail you in those later rounds. I don't know. What are the benefits? What are the pluses and the minuses of doing that? Because we know what Canelo's going to be at 68. We know what Canelo's best at 68, but we also know the second factor, which is after the weight. The second factor is Canelo versus southpaws and the stylistic clash of a slick southpaw has seemed to be the people that gave, besides obviously Floyd and Bivol, you know, an all-time great or 2 all-time greats. One of them that was just bigger than him and one of them that was just on a different level as far as defense, and you just couldn't hit him clean. And he had also Canelo before his prime, and then the Bivol fight was more of a result of daring to be great, but not a natural 75er, and Bivol was just too good. But this is at his most comfortable weight, in my opinion, against someone that can fight a style that has given Canelo issues in the past. What have been people that have frustrated Canelo? Because you can frustrate Canelo. We saw in that last fight, Skull didn't have the greatest game plan because it was 90% running, 10% actually throwing. So obviously you're not going to score no damn points if you're never going to actually attack them. But guys that are able to be slick and make Canelo chase and not stand and be a standing target for Canelo can frustrate him. Lara. Early Billy Joe Saunders before he got him out of there. These slicker guys, both for southpaw as well, are the type that can frustrate Canelo. Can Crawford be that at 68? Because Crawford is, yes, he's the smaller guy. Yes, he'll probably have the speed advantage as far as hand speed, but Crawford is not a big mover. As much as we want to say, oh, he's the smaller guy, he's going to be too quick, he's going to move and shake around Canelo. Canelo's not going to be able to catch him, he's too fast. Crawford will sit down on his punches. Crawford will stand in front of you, and that's what scares me about this fight is Canelo loves a guy that'll stand there and trade with him. And that's the reason why I think Canelo likes fighting bigger guys. I think Canelo would rather fight a bigger guy like Bivol than a smaller, quick guy like Floyd. That you can't pin him down. We see Canelo likes to, in those first 2, 3, 4 rounds, he'll let you land. He'll cover up, let you get confident, let you try to walk him down. And then he said, all right, we can stand right here and bang. Stand and bang. Let's do it. You got comfortable walking me down. I'm going to stand here and I'm going to counter you. You throw 4 punches. I'm going to counter you with my left hook over top of your punches. That's exactly what he wants. And I fear that Crawford might get lured into that because Crawford is a little bit crazy, man. He's reckless. He gets hit. He's been dropped. He's been hurt at very, very significantly lower weight classes with guys with less impressive knockouts on their resume than Canelo. But Canelo has not stopped anybody recently, but he still is a threat. He's dropped. Even when he doesn't stop people, he's dropped big guys. Drop Berlanga. Drop Munguia. Even though people said those fights were boring, people said he carried Munguia, people said he should have been able to knock those guys out, he still dropped them. He still hurt them at some point in that fight. That shows that he still has that power. He just doesn't have those finishing ability, or really, I mean, it doesn't seem like he even has the drive to go for the finish as much in some of these fights, like the Skull fight. He didn't have the motivation to me to really cut off the ring and give full effort to try to do that against Skull. So will he have that in this Crawford fight? Will Crawford allow him to do that and stand with him and trade with him and give him the opportunities to be flat-footed and catch him in those spots? Yeah, he did knock out Kovalev. He knocked out Kovalev. And what did he do against Kovalev? He got down on the cards. He let Kovalev get confident. He did that high guard. And he gave them a false sense of security. Got them settled in, flat-footed, trade. You go, I go. Throw your punches. I'm going to do the high guard. I'm going to block. I have an all-time great chin. And when it's my time to go, I'm going to hurt you. And if Crawford gets lured into that, it could be trouble. It could be trouble. And my last point on this fight is I think Crawford's power, I don't know if it's going to carry. I don't think he's going to be able to hurt Canelo, I'll be honest. I don't think he'll be able to hurt Canelo with power shots, maybe slick shots if he's able to get Canelo tired, but Canelo does not overexert himself and doesn't throw a lot of punches. So Canelo gassing out would be very, very surprising to me, where he's at a weight class he's already comfortable at, and he doesn't throw a lot of punches in a round anyway. So unless he gets Canelo out of his own self, I don't see Canelo ever gassing out because he just doesn't have a style that's conducive to that. Do you think he can make Canelo respect him? I think he can make Canelo respect him enough. But also, I don't know. I don't think Canelo will have any hesitations walking Crawford down. I think he can respect him by, Canelo tries to walk him down. He pivots off, lands a good shot. It may not hurt Canelo, but like I said, frustrate him. Maybe not respect or hurt him, but frustrate him. I think frustrating him would be the key. Frustrating him and maybe get Canelo off his game, or maybe get Canelo to be kind of discouraged in those earlier rounds would be what I would say Crawford should do. Because if Crawford doesn't frustrate him with his movement, frustrated him with turning them and angles and not allowing Canelo to walk him down and get him pinned in the corner and let him throw flurries. If he's not able to do that, I think Canelo can really hurt him and maybe even stop him. Because if he stays in that southpaw stance, Canelo's favorite punch is that left hook to the body, left hook to the head, left hook to your damn arms. And he'll do that. When you're southpaw up against the orthodox, your front arm is right there for him to hook. Bop. All night. He's going to be eating that arm up. Left hook, right straight, right on that arm. He's going to be hurting that arm because Canelo doesn't jab a lot lately. I think Crawford will be the better jabber in this fight, but he's gonna eat that jab up with those arm punches and body punches early. I think Crawford has to get started early because Canelo, both of them are slow starters. I think Crawford has to get established early and frustrate Canelo early, because if Canelo's able to know that he can walk him down, know that he can pin him in the corner, he's going to set him up to start hurting him late. So as of right now, I lean Canelo. My mind says Canelo, but my heart says Crawford, because like I said yesterday in the stream, Canelo winning this fight is another all-time great Hall of Famer on his resume. It's another guy he should have beat. It's a smaller guy that tried to be great, and Canelo set him straight. It's another guy he's going to take their O, and just another feather in the cap for Canelo. Congratulations, Canelo. If Crawford wins this, this is one of the greatest wins in boxing history. This takes him to another level on some of these all-time great lists. It takes him to another level. Come on, man, you can't say that. What's your bet if you had to? If I had to, bet, I'd say Crawford. If I wanted to make some money and I wanted to bet, I'd say Crawford. I'd take these plus 145 odds on Crawford. Because I think like I said, if he's able to maintain the 168 weight and he looks anything like he looked at 54 or 47, I think he will be able to frustrate Canelo early and edge a decision. It is very hard to get a decision against Canelo, but I think if he's able to frustrate Canelo, if he's able to not stand in one spot and be flat-footed and exchange too much, he's able to turn, create angles, counter Canelo, and frustrate him when he tries to walk him down, I think that he can edge a decision. But if he goes into Crawford, we know how Crawford is. If he tries to hunker down, if he tries to stand his ground too much, and he tries to, really make it a fight, Canelo can hurt him. And I think Canelo maybe drops him in a later round, maybe even stops him. But I think Canelo will win a fight where Crawford becomes too flat-footed and starts to exchange with him. Crawford loses that fight. So it just depends on how, I think we'll know in the first 3 to 4 rounds. I think I'll know who's going to win the fight. If we come out the first 3 to 4 rounds and Crawford's really trying to hurt Canelo and really trying to, sit down on his punches and hurt Canelo and gain his respect too much, and Canelo's like sitting on the ring and people are like, oh shit, Crawford's hurting him. I don't think it's really going to be that. I think Canelo will be baiting him. If it looks like that, I think Crawford will be in trouble in those later rounds. If Crawford comes out slick and he's landing his shots, he's pivoting, he's using the ring to his advantage, he's not getting cornered, and he's choosing to fight in that style, I'd say Crawford could edge a decision. But like I said, in the first 4 rounds, I think we'll know who's going to win this fight, depending on how Crawford comes out. I'm going to lean Crawford because, like I said, I'm rooting on the side of history. I want history to be made. I want to see a historic performance like Spence Crawford. If he stops Canelo, God bless America. He is top something all time. I don't know what I'm ready to say right now, but he's top something. 5, 10, 50, I don't know. If he stops Canelo, the first man to ever stop Canelo, become 42-0, become 3-time undisputed. Yeah. Wait, is it 3 or 4? 3? I don't know. The most undisputed time, anybody. If he does that, goes up 14 pounds, becomes undisputed in his first fight against somebody undefeated that weight class, an all-time great in Canelo, yeah, he's one of them ones. And I'm rooting on the side of that. Give me Crawford. Fuck it. Give me Crawford. By knocking. No, I'm just playing. Give me Crawford, though. Give me Crawford by a decision if he fights slick. If he tries to hurt Canelo, he will lose. But the overall card, like we were talking about yesterday, is a little bit weak. I will say this. I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm not going to poo-poo too much because, like I said, the main event is so great. They had to spend so much money on this main event that it was slim pickings on the co-main and the rest of the card. I wish they could have got some bigger names, some bigger, up-and-coming guys, a Carmelo Moten, something that a guy that we're looking forward to in the future, a Boots Ennis, even like we said, kind of like a mid-level heavyweight fight that could have been fun, a Ruiz or a Tama or somebody that the mainstream hasn't really got to know yet that we could introduce to the world on this grand stage. That would have been very cool. Co-main is Callum Walsh versus Fernando Vargas Jr. I'm sorry, but this Callum Walsh dude has been force-fed down the throats of so many UFC fans that I'm sick of seeing this dude's face. I hope Vargas wins. I'm not gonna lie. I hope Vargas wins. For my people that are UFC fans that don't really fuck with boxing, or my boxing fans that don't really fuck with UFC, I'm telling you, bro, nobody I know from the boxing community is hyping up this Callum Walsh dude. I don't know if this dude is Dana White's nephew or something, but Dana White is the only person that's hyping this dude up, bro. If he didn't know Dana White, I wouldn't know who this dude is. I don't understand the hype. I don't understand why he's a minus 295. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. Give me Vargas on that fight. And then honestly, the rest of the fight, there's nothing too crazy on there. Nothing to write home about. Wish they could have threw something on there like we were talking about yesterday. The Boots Ennis fight. Maybe throwing Fundora, Thurman on there would have been fun. Just one more decent, even if it's not a championship level fighter, like a mid-level, big name guy, even like a Ryan Garcia comeback tune-up fight or something like that, even though everybody, we kind of off him right now. But just to add some name value or some excitement to the card, would have been fun to throw that on there. We got Jermaine Franklin down on the card on the prelim, so it could end up fun, but just not the most main value that we have. Did you put into account that Turkey wants Crawford to win and Canelo rose a lot of the punches, giving Crawford points from the judges' POV? Yeah. Like I said, if Crawford fights slick, I think he's one of the few people that I think can get a decision against Canelo because, like I said, like you said, Turkey wants to build up Crawford. They want to make Crawford a star. I think that even though he doesn't have that many years left in the sport, but I think that they're excited about Crawford and think that he has a promising future as much as Canelo versus if he's just some small name guy that has a good fight with Canelo and it's like, oh shit, that was kind of close. They still gonna give it to Canelo because he's Canelo. He's the cash cow in this game. He's still gonna be the cash cow. He's still the face of boxing. So it's going to be very hard to get a decision, but I think Crawford is one of the guys that's gained enough of respect in the game that could get a decision. If he really deserves it, I think they could give him I think they might give it to him. I know a lot of people said they didn't give it to Triple G, that nobody could get a decision over Canelo, but if Crawford fights slick, I think he could do it. Yeah. Yeah, I think honestly it could be if sorry guys, I'm reading the chat. I don't have the chat on the screen, my bad. I'm gonna put the chat on the screen so y'all know what I'm replying to. But he said Canelo rose a lot of the punches, giving Crawford points from the judge's point of view, which is true. I think like I said, if Crawford fights slick, creating angles, not allowing Canelo to corner him, not allowing Canelo to get flurries off, and fight slick, and counters Canelo, even if he's not countering Canelo the most cleanly or hurting him in any way, that could be a route to a decision. He's pivoting every time Canelo tries to walk him down. He's pivoting it off. He's landing shots. He's getting away before Canelo can get his shots off. Canelo's getting frustrated. Canelo's looking at the ref like, make him fight me. Canelo's getting pissed off. That could be route to a disaster for Canelo. But also, I don't think Crawford has never been that, bro. Crawford will stand there with you and throw, which scares me. I don't know. What do y'all think? I want to know what people think. Like I said, I'm headed to Vegas tomorrow. I'm going to put this little clip up on YouTube. This will be my early week predictions. I might have another prediction later in the week. I might change my mind when I get there, when I see the weigh-ins, and when I see the press conference. I might change my damn mind, okay? I'm allowed to change my mind. But for right now, I'm rooting for history to be made. I'm going for Crawford. Crawford by decision, by fighting slick and avoiding exchanges. My guy Wicked Blunt in the chat says Canelo body shot TKO round 7. I can see it. Around, yeah, I can see it. I can see it. Hey man, there's nothing in this fight that would surprise. The only thing that would really shock me in this fight is if Canelo got knocked out. Anything else is on the table. Anything else is on the table. A Crawford masterclass where Canelo just can't hit him and he styles on him for 12 rounds and wins and cruises to a decision. That could happen. Canelo walking him down, landing flurries and hurting him and finishing him late. That wouldn't surprise me. A back and forth kind of war where Crawford gets dropped, but Crawford fights back pretty well and wins. Crawford wins most of the rounds, but then at the end of the rounds, Canelo was hurting him and drops him a couple times, and then it's a hard decision to say because Crawford was outboxing him, but then Canelo was hurting him, and then it's like a narrow decision, and they give it to either one of them. That wouldn't surprise me. But Crawford knocking him out, that would shock me. Would it shock you if Canelo outboxes him 12 rounds? Yes. If Crawford looks like himself, I would be shocked if Canelo just straight up outboxes him because Canelo really doesn't even try to outbox people because he doesn't even put enough volume on you to like outbox you. He wants to make you almost initiate first and then he's going to flurry back. Like I've never seen Canelo come out from round 1 and try to like outbox somebody. Canelo's usually filling you out for the first 3-4 rounds and then starts walking you down in the second half. So if Canelo comes out round 1 boxing like his old self, I'd be shocked. Because to me, I think Canelo's going to take 3-4 rounds to try to figure out Crawford and try to see what Crawford wants to do and try to see if Crawford is willing to exchange with him. And then he's going to turn it up in 5, 6, 7 and then try to really hurt him in the 8th round on. And I think Crawford will be wise to avoid that. So that's what I'm thinking right now. Let me know what y'all think. I'm excited to hear what other people's predictions are. I'm seeing a lot of different mixed reviews.